Welcome everyone to the World Team Championship Final for 2010. It is the Slovak Republic against Australia. Rich Hagan, Brian David Marshall bringing you all the action, and simultaneously, it's like synchronized swimming, 3 players from the Slovak Republic kick off. Jurkovic nearest us in extended, Floch in the middle in legacy, far end Patrick Surab with standard. That is how it shapes up. Their opponents then are Team Australia, and they consist of Jeremy Neiman playing up against Robert Jurkovic in extended. You can just see at the back there Adam Whitten, the national champion, playing legacy against Ivan Floch, and then at the far end Ian Wood plays standard with Elves. We are going to kick off in extended, and that means Jurkovic and Jeremy Neiman, who you can see on your screen there. Neiman in the black on the left of your screen will be Robert Jurkovic, on the right will be Jeremy Neiman, and Neiman opens with an island.
And that's following an open by Jurkovic with a Thoughtseize, which took Pyromancer's Ascension, the titular card from this deck. He also saw Lightning Bolt, he saw Sea Beyond, he saw Metamorphose. But, you know, it's hard for the Pyromancer's Ascension deck to win without Pyromancer's Ascension.
Is that how Pyromancer's Ascension decks work, with Pyromancer's Ascension?
That's their key win condition.
Why do you call the deck Pyromancer's Ascension? Has Kelly signed off on that one?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
He's comfortable with that.
So, Neiman goes for Preordain. Seen plenty of that here this weekend. Jurkovic.
With his upside down cards.
Yep. Land number 2, pass the turn.
Mutavault, no Bitter Blossom.
Land number 2. That'll be Cascade Bluffs. Metamorphose.
Metamorphose, draw card.
I love little cards like that. You know, they don't intrinsically win games. They're not flashy. They're just kind of cool.
Yeah. Metamorphose into Sea Beyond. Get to dig 3 cards deep into your deck this turn.
It's got a Ponder, Pyromancer's Ascension, Mana Leak, Lightning Bolt.
Sea Beyond is going to be Broken Ambitioned.
So we have the Clash.
We're going to lose the Clash.
Bottom.
Put it on the bottom. Neiman's like,
We'll leave the land on top. It's going to just get pushed away anyway.
Yep.
Nope.
No, he's going to send it, and then Broken Ambitions gets rid of Island, Lightning Bolt, Ponder, Mountain.
Guess maybe he wanted more cards in his yard for when the Pyromancer's Ascension resolves.
Sure.
Thoughtseize.
So there's the hand that we already knew about, but Jurkovic did not, and now he knows that he's dodged the bullet of the second Pyromancer's Ascension of the match. All these games best of 3, remember? It's just like standard Magic that you'd play at your local Friday Night Magic, for example. It's not best of 5, best of 3 in each of them, and as long as 2 players win, that is the ball game. The third match, if it's 2-0, will not get played out.
Get in there with a Mutavault.
Plenty of information as we go along the shards from the other tables, please.
Ponders.
They
So it sounds like we've resolved a Ether Vial
right.
against the counterbalanced top deck.
All right, so this is the Merfolk of Adam Whitten in Legacy for Australia.
So that pretty much we can you could just mark a 1 next to Adam Whitten's name right now.
Really, is that
Yeah,
how
that's
it works?
pretty much how it works.
Ether Vial GG.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you know that counterbalanced top you'd like to use to counter all my creatures and spells?
Yeah, I'm never casting
Good
them.
luck. Good luck with that.
Okay.
3.
Neiman at 15 now. Jurkovic has Smother. Land.
Scion of Una.
Mm-hmm. That's the all the fairies +1/+1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cards 3. 4, 5. 5? 5. Okay.
Sounds like Ian Wood, meanwhile, in Standard. That's Elves, where he wants to put a whole ton of creatures onto the battlefield. He's struggling to keep them there. Sounds like things like Doomblade, Disfigure maybe, from Patrick Surab, his Slovak opponent, are making things a little bit awkward for Ian trying to get his Elves assembled.
Speaking of trying to get things assembled, Neiman is looking to get off of 2 lands here.
Jeremy Neiman, a terrific Australian player. It's top 8 the last 3 years of Nationals. His first came to prominence in Sydney in 2006 when he made the top 8 of a Grand Prix. And then, of course, he is a Premier Event winner this year when he returned to Sydney and won the Grand Prix there.
Jurkovic is just happily getting in with Mutavault. Sort of pecking away. There's a 3rd land for Neiman. Neiman has had trouble finding Pyromancer's Ascensions, which is usually the downfall of this deck. Is you get all your card draw and all your other stuff, but you can't find your Pyromancer's Ascension. Here he's just having a problem getting them to stick around.
Yep.
He's seen
Two
looking at his hand,
already gone.
and he's seen the other 2. He's seen all 4 of them at this point.
Oh, I guess it only takes 1.
Correct.
So although 2 are gone, 2 remain. Alternate route to victory presumably is 4 lightning bolts and 4 burst lightning kicked. Something like that, along those lines.
Along those lines. It's a little easier when you have the Ascension in play.
Yes, I can see that. Manamorphose. Even Flock has gone for Moat, saying, you guys can't attack me, but that has not resolved. I had Force of Will dealing with that one. I love Force of Will so much.
Jurkovic attempts Scion of Una. If you look at Jeremy Neiman's sideboard, he's got a slightly different deck. After we saw, I believe the Germans were playing this deck, or a version of this deck in Pro Tour Amsterdam.
Sure.
With the Pestermite Splinter Twin package in their sideboard.
Well, when we have 10 minutes, perhaps you could gently explain to me and the viewers at home quite how the Pestermite Splinter Twin combo works. It's pretty cheeky, to be fair. In fact, it's kiki-jeeky cheeky, isn't it, really? I'm sorry, I said that out loud.
You're going to have to put $1 in the pun jar.
Sounds to me like Ian Wood is really struggling in Standard, having struggled to get initially a bunch of creatures down. Sounds like Surab is now the man with creatures in play, and as we know from the blue-black through the day, we're learning that creatures mean Seagate Oracles, or more likely, Grave Titan plus friends. So that is looking very good for Patrick Surab over Ian Wood in Game 1. And indeed, Surab leads by 1-0. So that is 1-0 to the Slovak Republic in that match. Ian Wood will need to come back to take 2-1. We believe that there is an Australian match in the bank, which is Legacy Merfolk defeating Countertop, although it is still 0-0 in that one, and nothing in Magic is certain. And
No,
having watched it, and having watched Matinur against Palavida Dama de Rosa in their 3rd game, you don't need much of a lesson to see just how nothing is certain.
Well, one of the interesting things about the team format is you'll see these players lean over and give some advice to their teammates. And, you're not normally allowed to actually receive any kind of assistance, but in the team formats, it is a part of the game.
Absolutely. Burst Lightning, by the way, taking out Mutavault. Neiman removes the threat. And now he offers up Pyromancer's Ascension. Jurkovic will mana leak that, and of course, because there are difficulties for Neiman on mana, he's struggling. He has mana leak back the other way, but Jurkovic uses his second mana leak, and that is a counterspell won well and truly by the Slovak man. At which point, 1, 2, 3 Pyromancer's Ascension are in Jeremy Neiman's graveyard.
Oh, and there's...
No, no, no.
Oh, that's quite sporting of Jurkovic. If he didn't see what those are, that's quite sporting of him. Because when Vendilion Click hits play,
Yep.
it is not automatic that you're going to show your opponent your hand.
No.
It could be either player.
Pyromancer's Ascension is in.
Bitter Blossom is in. It's the battle of the two mana enchantments.
Okay.
Okay, attack with
6.
Vendilion Click and Creeping
The Creeping
Tar
Tar Pit, and that's 6, which halves Neiman's life total from 12 down to 6. Jurkovic pressing. Neiman passes.
Not quite sure he can get there. He's spent all this energy to get Pyromancer's Ascension out, but he doesn't have anything left to do with it.
Indeed. It looks like he's flicking around just 2 cards. And meanwhile, Jurkovic has plenty of attacking options. And incidentally, Jurkovic is a very sporting individual. He's a terrific guy. Seems very taciturn at the table
Certainly does.
and very serious, and doesn't have a huge amount of English. So a quiet guy. Is one of those pros with a solid reputation that you don't need to watch yourself when you're playing.
He could very easily and justifiably have said, like, oh, don't show me that, but now I am going to target you.
And there we go. That is 1-0 to Robert Jurkovic. We saw all 4 Pyromancer's Ascensions, but we see 1-0 to Robert Jurkovic.
We're going to try to swing about between our matches and take a look at in on Legacy and
Yep.
see what Countertop versus Ether Vial looks like.
Yes, so that's Top, Brainstorm, Counterbalance, Force of Will, Swords of Palace, Enlightened Tutor, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Counterspell, Blooming Ring, Python Needle, Relic of Progenitus, Engineered Explosive Moat, Sword of the Meek Thought Foundry, bunch of land, and you say availing for nothing, essentially, against the Vial.
Pretty much.
Okay, good to know.
I mean, there's certainly engineered explosives can do something. Certainly that one Python Needle can, shut off the Ether Vial, but it's kind of a big deal.
There are the players in that middle match, the Legacy match.
That's
Both
Adam Whitten in the background.
Indeed, 13 and 5 in the main event. A large part of the reason that Australia made it here to the final. And Even Flock, his Legacy opponent from the Slovak Republic, playing countertop. There he is. To put it mildly, Matej Zatelkai was a little bit pleased about this lot making the final.
Well, they have a big rivalry with the Czech team.
And the Czech team, who, as you said earlier in the day, I kind of thought they were going to do it.
We didn't get much of a look there.
Well, we can stay here for a bit, can't we? We'll take a look at their second game, maybe let that kick off, and then maybe we'll head down to Standard in a little while. So let's stick with Flock and Whitten, and so we'll stay here for that. And Even Flock, he's multiple times he's been on the team. As BDM says, a rivalry with the Czech Republic team. The Czechs, I thought they were pretty much locked in last year. They were so impressive. Lukas Jaklovsky was part of the team last year. They got to the top 4 in a canter in Rome. They were pretty much home and hosed with 2 rounds to go. I was rereading some of the coverage last night from a year ago at Worlds, and they were utterly dominant, and it was a real head shaker when they didn't take home the whole prize. And I thought this year, the team with Lucas Blahon, Petra Nahadil, and David Doan as their legacy anchor, I thought would be tremendous. They were tremendous for about a day and 3/4, and they stunk the place out for about 3 rounds, but the 3 rounds were really early in Standard, and they just ran out of time.
They just couldn't climb out of that hole.
They just could not quite climb out of that hole.
So we see Adam Whitten there looking at his sideboard, making some decisions, trying to figure out what he can do to optimize his chances of getting into an Ether Vial.
Let's take a look at the top teams then, if we can. Not just these top two, but see how the rest of the top 10 rounded out.
Is this you bragging about the UK again?
No, not at all. Not at all. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in 8th. No. So, Slovak Republic and Australia, 129, 123. Just missing out. Switzerland and the Czech Republic. Tremendous effort by Switzerland. They defeated the United Kingdom, in fact, early on day 3. Canada, tremendous performance by them. Quite a lot of Canadian players doing well, not just the team. Noah Long, I know you spoke to.
Yeah, Noah Long was doing very well. But that Canadian finish is really propelled by Pascal Menard 6-0ing extended with the steel artifact deck that we've been talking about.
Okay. 6th place, which turns out to be gigantic for Guillaume Matignon. He, along with his teammates Julian Perez and the 2005 Pro Tour LA champion Antoine Ruel, the Hall of Famer, 111 points between them. Enough for 3 pro points for Matignon and his teammates.
Interesting. You sort of prophesied about Antoine Ruel. I mean, he did not have a very strong tournament, and that's kind of the difference, really, between the French being in this, maybe even in this final.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those phenomenal players who won when they won because of the fire. And he's had a tremendous time with Magic in the last couple of years, but that's been about seeing places and people and savouring the lifestyle, and less about annihilating people into the ground with the best deck. Whereas in 2005, that was it. You could have put him on the moon. He'd have been like, all I want is a chair and a table.
Right. In 2005, he was playing circles around Kenji Samura in the top 8 of Hollywood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our top 10 round out. Mexico, fair play to them. They were in contention and they held their nerve down the stretch. And that is a tremendous performance. I'm pretty certain that is their best ever finish. Well done to Joe Jackson from Scotland. Also to Richard Bland and Dan Gardner of the United Kingdom. Top 8, proverbially as it were. Of course, we had John Randall in the top 8. A terrific end to the year for the United Kingdom. Roll on 2011. And then 2 more. European nations, Finland and Austria. Round out the top 10. And what that works out at is a lot of European nations doing very well.
Absolutely, a lot of Eastern European nations.
So those are the top teams. I can tell you that the players are ready for their next game. So let's go back to the action. There's Witten in the background. And nearest camera you see Even Floch.
I keep.
He's going to keep. Both players keep. So we are away in Legacy Game 2.
There's the Sensei's dividing top.
Live here on magicthegathering.com. Legacy action. Great to bring some to you. We know we've got a lot of Legacy fans around the world. We'd have loved a closer matchup for you. But we'll see how it resolves. Flooded Strand. Away we go.
And I think that this game and match could be determined on the first turn here.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Have you had a little look at a hand?
I have.
Okay.
Watch how this plays out.
All right, let's. So
Clearly,
there's a dual land.
Clearly, we're going to counter this Ether Vial.
So there is an Ether Vial.
That is going to be met with Force of Will.
Yes.
I think I'll just pick up this land here.
There's Jace the Mind Sculptor gone away. Really? Days? Oh, no. Oh, boy. Oh.
So Witten is down to 3 cards.
Is he going to care?
I'm sorry, I meant Floch.
Floch has 4. Now,
After drawing, yeah.
Yep, after drawing. Thopter Foundry, Force of Will. And stash in hand for Witten. Ugh. Again, please withstand it.
Paćeš na šteel and dynasty.
He's going to play his Thopter Foundry here.
I'm at 18, right?
Turn 3 Vengevine for Ian Wood in the back table. That's standard. Remember that Surab leads 1-0 in that one. But turn 3 comes back the other way with a sideboarded in Vampire Nighthawk for Patrick Surab from the Slovak Republic. So 4-3 Vengevine faces 2-3 Death Touch, Lifelink Flying, all that good stuff.
Upkeep. Yep.
Upkeep, I'm going to top. I wonder if
Now,
Remy
the match could be determined. I didn't say it would be fast.
Indeed. Countertop, such a feature we've extended at Pro Tour Valencia in 2007. That was everywhere. That eventually won by Remy Fortier, another Frenchman, as we wait for the World Championship final, which features 2 Frenchmen.
There's a curse catcher at the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Put a second counter on my vial. There's a mutable.
Indeed. This legacy format's very strange. All the lands come into play untapped. What's going on?
There's a Lord of Atlantis. Island walk you for 2,
Wait.
even if you make a guy.
Here, you can attack.
Yeah, you can attack. And there's Swords to Plowshares.
Oh, that resolves.
I do love the art on that particular Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah.
It's, in a sense, truly iconic. The way they've done that one. I'll tell you, there's a Thoughtseize going on in Jurkovic's match up against Neiman, with Jurkovic already leading 1-0 over the Australian. Doesn't look like he's got rid of any Pyromancer's Ascensions yet.
You got to get rid of a volcanic
of a-
fallout, which
yeah.
is not no small matter here in this matchup.
Indeed, because it's uncounterable to everything and everyone.
Go.
Flock passes the turn.
Leaves it on 2.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
There's another mutable.
No blocks, I guess. 3.
No blocks, I guess. I'd like some blocks.
So a reminder that Jurkovic leads Neiman 1-0 in extended. Surab leads Wood 1-0 in standard. Witten, here, leads Floch 1-0 in legacy. If it followed through this way, the Slovak Republic would be your team world champions for 2010.
A lot of interesting cards on top of the deck there for Floch.
Threads of Disloyalty.
Counterspell and Force of Will.
Yep.
And remember, if he needs 2 of those, he can flip his top.
The Slovak team were terrific to watch yesterday in the first couple of rounds before the extended. The way the team interacted with each other, it was a true team. It was good to see.
Okay.
Silver Gale Adept. Now we're up to 3 on the
vial.
like I said at lunch, they'd kind of written this match off. And keep in mind, a moat could be